That 2 seconds of menu navigation you just saw was actually a world record speedrun. Speedrunning is older than this site you are watching this video on. I remember watching Sonic speedruns as a kid, and I thought the TAS in the title meant the animated series. Years would pass, and for me, speedrunning would evolve into that awkward thing awkward people would do very awkwardly.
So confirmed, Santa's #1 helper is a squirrel.
I would really prefer if you would be quiet.
I live for the cringe, I'm sorry. You can find a speedrunning community based on most any game or genre. From Mario 64 to RimWorld. Yeah, these are some speedy rimmers, what can I say?
Hey, yo!
But the genre of game that is often never looked at is sports games. And saying that is kind of weird. Like, how the hell can you speedrun a sport video game? Most video games have an endpoint, but for sports games, they never really do end. So oftentimes, challenges are made, whether it's score the most points or complete a game the fastest or winning a championship the fastest, which, as you just saw in the intro, can just be done through simulating games in a menu. Also, these games release annually. No reason for you to grind your heart out for a world record in NBA 2K25 when NBA 2K26 will be out in a year, and this leads to little to no one speedrunning these games. All of these games are slim pickings for some loser on YouTube to get a video out of, and guess who that loser is?
It's me!
So yeah, we're going to attempt to speedrun several sports games and try and take the #1 spots. The only rule is that I can't just make a run on a challenge that nobody has attempted. You know, as much as I want to claim the WNBA championship speedrun all to myself, I think I'll just have to sit that one out. So we'll start with UFC 5. Many categories to choose from, but I see the slowest knockout. I thought this was a speedrun, not a slow run. Thank you, everyone. I thought of that myself. So yeah, I can only assume that this is getting a knockout as late as you possibly can. One of the troubling things you can run into this in general is that there are no real rules or guidelines to most of these games. Like, there are rules, but it doesn't cover everything. Like, can I use any difficulty? Can I use a creative fighter? Look at all these sliders. Can I mess with them? It's a damn free-for-all. I assume that this stuff should be left as default, so I did. I don't want to be the main focus of one of those speedrunner cheating videos.
That motherfucker's cheating!
So getting the slowest knockout isn't really all that hard, it's just really time consuming. I go against Dana White just for hilarity's sake.
I want to oil you up. What the fuck does that mean?
And you essentially beat the shit out of him. But not beat the shit out of him so much where you knock him out or stop the fight. You do damage to his legs, body, head. Eventually you have to take him down and grind his health down so that one punch is all it takes to knock him out.
Now wipe yourself off, you're bleeding.
Damn, that cut looks like a damn coin slot. And once you run the clock down, it just becomes a timing thing at this point. I knocked him out with 7 seconds left, which isn't the best, but you know what? It does more than enough to get me first place. And let me tell you, my life has changed so much since I've become the top ranked slowest knockout in UFC 5. The money, the fame, okay, I didn't really get any of those things. The fastest submission is actually going to take some use of brain cells. We need to look at the fighter ratings, preferably the submission ones. Charles Oliveira has the highest rating, so we'll use him. And we'll go against the person with the lowest rating, which is whoever the hell this is. Now we have to get a strategy. We could half-ass it on that last challenge because the time was very easy to surpass, but this is a little bit more tough. I go into practice and I see that the fastest way to get in a submission position is to clinch and then go for a sub attempt from there. This can be very tough to do because you're going up against an AI opponent that's trying to stop you. It's not like a Goomba in Mario 64. This leads to pretty much just randomness and luck. But eventually the planets will align, we get a guillotine, then quickly transition to an armbar for that new record. Barely. Give me that first place. The fastest knockout is the one that I was dreading the most because it's completely devoid of any skill and it's purely luck based. I go with the heavyweights because they hit the hardest, and I pick Boss Ruin because he has the highest kick power in the division. I'm using kick power because kicks do more damages than punches. Our opponent is 9 feet tall Stefan Struve, who has the worst chin in the division. Now, my strategy is, well, just walking up to him, throwing a kick and hoping it knocks him out. There's really nothing else to do. Block, 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 block. This is starting to sound like that one Terry Crews Old Spice commercial. Even if my kick lands, it's only going to stun him. UFC 5 multiplies the damage based on a number of factors. You can't just knock someone out with a punch or a kick that lands. There are several other factors that come into play. Stamina and head health are two big ones, but considering it's the start of the fight, neither one will really matter. The other factor is vulnerability. You take more damage if you are hit in the middle of a move or if you lead into a strike. You just need the perfect sequence of events, and on normal difficulty, that ain't happening. So I turned the difficulty down to easy.
That motherfucker's cheating!
No, there's other guys who are on the leaderboard for this challenge who have the difficulty down. And this makes our goal much more tangible because the CPU leaves themselves open doing stupid shit, but I still can't get the knockout, at least with one strike. Have you ever seen anyone block a head kick with a flying knee? Well, now you have. After trying this for way too long, I just settled for third place.
All right, here we go, UFC heavyweight fight. You gotta keep pressing here. Could be the beginning of the end. Oh, that's it!
Oh my goodness!
I mean, you gotta be...
NBA 2K25 offers plenty of challenges, but for this one, I'm trying to do the shortest possible game. So we'll get started after I install the 150 gigabyte video game.
Jesus!
What the hell are these? Like Pac-Man's boots, but made out of SpongeBob material? People buy this shit? So you are allowed to lower the time per quarter to 1 minute, play on any difficulty, and use any teams. So we're gonna go with the 07 Rockets. Why? I got a 7'6" reason why. It's fascinating playing this challenge because you have to play the game in a way you never would. You also have to use your knowledge of the sport to take advantage of certain things. So the whole point here is to kill the clock and keep it running. What are things that make the clock stop? Many things, but the main one is actually scoring points. So the best possible way to complete this challenge is to turn this into a Kyle Kuzma simulator. No scoring at all. But we can't end in a tie because the game will go into overtime. So the best way to score points is during a buzzer beater as the clock expires.
What a play! Simply drains it in at the buzzer.
We want to keep the ball as long as possible, and that's when our tall meme friend comes in. Yao Ming is here for rebounds, specifically offensive rebounds. You can give certain players certain commands, so for Yao, we'll tell him to cut to the basket with about 6 or so seconds left on the shot clock. We'll chuck up the ball and make sure to miss. Watch Yao body whoever is in his way.
Move, bitch!
And come down with the rebound. And that's the basis of this challenge. But as with most things, getting the rebound on offense is just random at times because the ball can bounce off the rim and go to the other team. Now you're on defense. All is not lost. But I don't know, man. You could say this is a skill issue and I won't argue with you, but I feel like these modern 2K games control like everyone is so slow, like they're underwater, with 50-pound weights on each limb, with arthritis, and a rod shoved up their ass. Like, look at how they run after a loose ball. Like, does this game take place on King Kai's planet? There's no way you're sitting over here telling me that this is the fastest an NBA player can run. So I just control Yao Ming on defense and I let my CPU teammates handle guarding the ball carrier. But the CPU even struggles on defense. Bro, what are you doing? Bro, I need Derek Fisher defense at point guard, not Sam Fisher. What's with all this sneakily creeping around shit? Despite the CPU being set on rookie, they are still pretty competent. They run plays, do screens, pass the ball around, and more often than not, hit an open look if they get one. Also remember, we have to be careful on defense. Going for a block can result in a block out of bounds or a foul which stops the clock, thus killing your run. After every quarter, you get a damn unskippable cutscene. Well, kinda unskippable. You could skip them after a bit, but the most egregious one is the halftime show. Just let me skip this. And once you get into the second half of the game, you have to assess the situation. Specifically, what's the score? As long as it's not a tie, you should be fine. And on this run, it looks like I got everything under control. Just have to seal this game away.
Rebound, Washington.
No!
A timeout? They called a timeout. They killed my run. They called a timeout. So one of the things I didn't anticipate was that the losing team, the CPU, would call a timeout, which makes sense in their perspective. They're just trying to win the game. They're unaware of me being a loser and trying to speedrun a game no one speedruns. But For the perspective of me being a loser trying to speedrun an NBA 2K game, this sucks ass. I was going for a perfect run, but couldn't get it. But the run I ended up with is still enough to beat the first place person. Thank God that's over and I never ever have to do this again. I'm deleting this 150 gigabyte headache. MLB The Show has the Home Run Derby. The Home Run Derby challenge is to hit a certain number of home runs the fastest. There's just one guy on the leaderboards. I'm going to be just focusing on the one home run challenge. Jumping into this, my immediate thought was, which stadium am I going to do this in? And my mind immediately went to the Polo Grounds. The Polo Grounds is an anomaly of a stadium. But we don't care that it's 483 feet to center field. But what we do care about is the fact that it's only 258 feet down the right field line. The idea here is to hit a home run in this stadium down the right field line, simply because it's the shortest possible home run. Not unless I create a stadium, but I feel like that's cheating, to be honest. So we pick a powerful left-handed batter and we go for it. Now what you'll notice is that you don't really have much control over how the ball is hit. It's very easy to hit home runs in this mode. Look, I just hit a ball that went over the roof and phased through the stadium somehow. But the idea is a low line drive. That's the type of hit that can get us a high quality run. Getting that line drive can be difficult, especially when this dude over here is throwing garbage. Each time you fail, you restart and you hear,
It's time for the Home Run Derby. It's time for the Home Run Derby. It's time for the Home Run Derby.
I would really prefer if you would be quiet.
So after many attempts, I got what I was looking for.
To it. It's time for the Home Run Derby. Hitting.
Only to find out that it wasn't really all that close to the record. How the hell do you do this in 3 seconds? But then it hit me. When hitting home runs in this mode, you can press and hold the triangle button to fast forward as soon as you make contact. I forgot and wish I remembered earlier because we wasted a really good line drive. So now my strategy is to hold down the triangle button the entire time, then swing and hope for a line drive. And we eventually get something I'm somewhat happy with.
Right to it. It's time for the.
It's crazy because that looks illegal, doesn't it? Looks like I did this shit in Premiere Pro. I didn't though, so don't get any ideas, MLB The Show speedrunning community. Give me that first place. College Football 25. Why not 26? Well, that game doesn't have a board on speedrun.com. The fastest touchdown we'll go for. It's pretty simple. To start, it's obvious a go route to a wide receiver is the fastest play here. Well, I can scrub through the game's wide receivers, and the fastest one with a speed of 99 is Nick Harbor. I'd like to point out that this is the worst spelling they could have possibly went with. But to be honest with you, this isn't even anywhere near the worst college football name. But we decided to go with Isaiah Bond from Texas, just because he's way better at everything else while still being 99 speed. As far as our opponent goes, we look for low-rated cornerbacks, and we go with Ball State. Now, jumping into the game, you have to have the playbook mapped out a little. You need to get to a play that has a go route for your speedy receiver. You could change the play at the line, but that'll take too much time. Once you get the play you want, it's a simple lob up, and you hope you don't get a jumping animation that slows you down like this one. Yes, I pressed the square button to keep running. And there you have it, it's pretty simple. The difficulty comes in when you speed run for the shortest game. It's the same concept as NBA 2K5. We want to keep the clock running, but it's in football now. My strategy was to just run the ball for a couple of first downs, then for the final play, just run all the way back to my end zone for a safety so the game doesn't go into overtime. And it's simple for 98% of the run. The 2% that isn't? Well, that's Saiyan reincarnated. So the efficient way to do this run is to be in control of the ball the whole game. Unlike NBA 2K25, the CPU having the ball in this game is completely unacceptable. The CPU would do pass plays, which could end up incomplete, and that stops the clock. So we never want these dudes with the ball. So to start off, we kick the ball to them to start the game.
I don't understand. I don't know what's going on here.
But wait, am I stupid? I just said that they shouldn't have the ball, right? Well, here's the thing. If we've received the ball at the start of the game, then we have to kick the ball off to them after halftime, and that's no good. So we elect to kick the ball off to them to start the game, but we just onside kick instead so we can get the ball back immediately.
Way to start this game. They're lining up for an onside kick.
Embarrassing. It's a foolproof plan, but I must be the fool because I cannot get this onside kick. I try again and 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 again
and again until we're both dead.
Even when I do get the onside kick, I'm so caught off guard that I forget I'm doing a speed run for a second. So trying to put all this together in a single run is a difficult task, but when I finally do it, it's still not enough for the world record. Neither run is enough for the world record actually. But the reason I'm trailing behind is because of the cutscene that you can't skip when the first drive starts. But when I view the other speedruns, the cutscene is non-existent. How? I have no clue, but I'll just stay with my third place. Well, that sucked. Let's look at WWE 2K25. WWE 2K25 has one guy hogging most of the leaderboards. Gamiac Guy. So he has everything. But what if I just take it all? What if I just take everything he has? So WWE 2K25 has speedruns for completing a match the fastest, but each individual match has a speedrun. I'm not going to go all in depth or anything because this video will probably be long enough. You can't use a created wrestler, so I can't use my illustrious roster of created wrestlers like Korn, Freakazoid, Sandwich Maker 3000, or my favorite, this random shirtless guy I found on Community Creations.
Put on a fucking shirt!
So I go with Roman Reigns because he's the highest rated guy in the game and his finisher is a submission, which is very ideal. Our opponent, of course, is the Nutty Professor. Nah, it's actually Eric Bischoff. I pick arenas that have this little opening next to the announce table. This is where you can run and grab a steel chair quickly. Other arenas have this little area blocked off. And that's the whole idea behind these runs, the steel chair. It's just different variations of using a steel chair to beat the Bischoff of Eric. Extreme rules? Hit him with a chair and win. One-on-one? Knock the ref down, hit him with a chair and win. Ladder? Hit him with a chair, climb up a ladder and win. Backstage brawl? Chair. No holds barred? Chair. Submission? Chair. Most everything involves the chair. There are some matches that change things up, most notably Steel Cage and Hell in a Cell. But instead of a chair, you just punch him until your finisher charges and then you win. On the surface, a tables match seems like it'd be really easy and really fast, but it was actually pretty annoying because I didn't really understand it at first. I thought you could just throw a guy outside onto the conveniently placed table and the match would end in less than 10 seconds. But it never works.
This is #1 bullshit.
I guess the game has a system where the table can only be broken if you do enough damage. So you know what that means. Steel chair time, then throw him to a table. Some other gimmick matches are different, like casket and ambulance matches, but once again, chair. And after all that, I got every match in WWE 2K25. It was kind of easy, mostly because Gamiac Guy didn't have optimized runs in any sense of the imagination. I think he just wanted to be on the leaderboards because he's over here chain wrestling in the middle of his speed run. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? But that closes the chapter on WWE 2K25. A clean sweep of first place finishes. And that would be the last game I'm running in this video. Oh, a notification? Buzzer beater beat my NBA 2K25 speedrun in the middle of me making this video. And we cannot go out like that. So once again, I have to download and install this 150 gigabyte video game.
Now that's a lot of gigabytes.
God, this shit is ugly. Now, looking at the time he got, it seems impossible. Even if you were to have a super optimized run of this game, that still shouldn't be that much better than mine. So I watched his run and I made a very interesting discovery. Not to cast any allegations anywhere, but it is very debatable on if this run should even be allowed. Instead of using regular play now, he went with eras play now. Eras play now lets you play as other teams from certain eras, but also puts you in that era and has all the bells and whistles to go along with it. That's why this footage looks like someone smeared Vaseline on your eyes. It's trying to mimic TV in the 90s. Well, what's the problem with that? It's just old dudes playing in extra small shorts, nothing wrong with that. Right? Well, the thing is, this eras mode also follows the rules of that specific era. The main rule that affects us is the shot clock. If you get an offensive rebound in today's NBA, the shot clock returns to only 14 seconds. If you get a rebound in a certain era, your shot clock returns to 24 seconds. This is a massive difference because a lot of the times you could just get one rebound in order to finish off a quarter. The bigger thing that cuts down time is the fact that the halftime show cinematics are heavily reduced and can even even be skipped almost instantly. Complete game changer. Like I said, very debatable if this is legal, but there's nothing saying you can't do this, so whatever. So we try again as the Rockets, and even with the advantages, this still isn't easy. Well, it seems like we got this one. My CPU opponent hit a buzzer beater 3, which is good for us. I'm not going to call a timeout, so let's just end this.
Point territory. Collins grabs the miss.
He missed.
What the fuck is you doing, cuz?
You gotta be kidding me. So the game automatically has late fouls on, and that's something I did not anticipate. So you know what? Screw the optimization, screw the perfect run. Just give me first place. I had enough. Once again, let me delete this 9,000 gigabyte video game. So that was speedrunning in sports games, from the laughably easy to the ball-breakingly annoying. I don't know if this is a hidden gold mine of speedrunning content or not. It was all modern sports games today, but if this does well, I can try some classic sports games, or at least some classic sports games that have a reasonable chance of me beating them. Whatever the case, thank you for watching whatever the hell this was.
I would really prefer if you would be quiet.